webcam on. Technical difficulties every friggin' time on this computer. I hate it so much I'm about to punch it.
All
But
right, just watch Carlos make a sandwich.
but you can watch Carlos Williams make a sandwich. You can watch Austin Veazey just smile, and then I guess Dustin's just not going to use his webcam either. So I guess that's just how it's going to go tonight. But
I'm only doing this
I
for
can
the
only
view
smoke off cam.
because Logan, like you are the face of No Game Day, so it's only right that somebody brings that entertainment to the show tonight.
Yeah.
And I shall do it by making me a rotisserie chicken sandwich.
What are we putting on this sandwich?
Yeah, what are you
Just
adding
wait
to that
till-
sandwich?
Sorry, I'm hungry.
We'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, I don't have camera. I guess Dustin, he's going to be secretive. But yeah, Florida State loses in South Bend. What are y'all's initial raw reactions? Because I have a little bit to talk about. We'll go for about 15 minutes here to about 12, 15 or a little bit over. But Florida State has some offensive play. On the other side of the ball, a complete devastation of a product right now. A complete devastation. If Florida State's defense had any type of just average defensive play tonight, this would actually be a game, gentlemen. I mean, we would be looking at a possible upset because Florida State's offense had some rhythm going. Jordan Travis is a true starting quarterback. We're done with all that talk of Jordan Travis. Do we need to see Chuba Purdy? Do we need to see him out there? Do we need to see another quarterback out there? Jordan Travis knows how to manage a game. He is a starting quarterback. What's y'all's initial raw reactions to tonight?
Yeah, I mean, credit to the defense for that fourth quarter goal line stop and also, getting the early fumble recovery that got Florida State the early lead. But, I mean, in between that, they just got dominated tonight. It felt like time and time again, Notre Dame kept running the same play on offense. They ran that counter, and every time Florida State's defense just wasn't prepared for it, just got moved out of the way, wide open holes. I think they had 2 long touchdown runs on that play and a couple other big bursts that resulted in huge plays. So, I mean, once again, it's something we talked about before the game that this defensive line and the linebacking core were going to have to step up against the best running attack that they faced all point of the season. And I mean, clearly, for the most part, they didn't do that. Notre Dame tonight, 353 rushing yards, 8.4 yards per carry average.
Sad.
To me, there was like 2 huge moments in this game where if they flip, this is a totally different outcome. And the first one was that end of first half defensive series. First, it starts with the 40-yard kickoff return for Notre Dame, and then the 15-yard unsportsmanlike on Woodby, and they get a touchdown right before half. That set us back the entire second half. And then going into the second half, the missed throw to Cameron McDonald, that should have been 6. You flip those 2 plays around, and this is a much different ball game.
Fellas, y'all missing it. The game was over earlier than what y'all think. I mean, yeah, I'm proud of what we came out and scored. We came out fast. We came out, and I think they gave us their best shot in the first half. Even though how much we were down, it kind of gave you like, you know what, the progress is happening. It's right in front of your face. But as the game progressed, they kept running the same play. 24 is going to pull if he's sitting in the wing. He's going to pull. He's going to pull. If he's in the wing and he's under center, the SOB is going to pull. So you fight a cross face. You don't just swim down the line of scrimmage. And our defensive line was non-existent. Our linebackers, besides for Amari, were non-existent. Gaynor was the only guy out there really making tackles in the second level. I mean, I think you should move 7 on the inside. Jones needs to be a nickel. He's not an outside guy. Put another corner out there. He's getting beat up on the outside. He's not an island guy. I don't like it. I'd rather play him in the nickel and let him play in space that way and put him in zone. I mean, but our defensive line really was caused us the game tonight. I mean, we couldn't get stops because they were getting ran through. Other than that, I like the way we progressed.
Yeah, no, I agree. The offense is something really optimistic to talk about moving forward. But going back to the defense, that is pathetic. I mean, that is pathetic, and it goes straight to the defensive line. And then, was it just me, or did I knew exactly there was not going to be any kind of linebacker play after kind of the first quarter? I mean, that is so disappointing. And obviously, I think your playmakers on defense for this game is probably Gaynor for the most part. And And that's practically it. But once again, the defensive line does not show up. And obviously, you're facing one of the top, if not the best, offensive line in the country. But still, man, you got a guy coming back from last year who could have gone in, second, third round, Marvin Wilson. And he comes back trying to up his stock. But right now, let's be honest, it's dramatically falling. It is dramatically falling. It is a bad performance from 21. And a lot of things we've got to change. I mean, I feel like I saw a little bit more better effort from 16, but that's all I can really praise. There's no plays made by him, just maybe some better effort and a little bit more fight. But it's been too much talked about over the offseason. And, of course, and we all talked about it. We thought that this defensive line was going to bring a better product. But there's got to be better execution on that line because, obviously, there's no good linebacker play. Chris Marv has got a lot to do to develop that linebacker group. I don't know, 35 – What's happening? What's going on, 35? Emmett, what's going on, man? What's going on, number one? What's happening? I mean, sadly, you have to start throwing in youngins like Lundy, and the only reason Lundy and Rice are in because you look at 35 and 1. It's just piss poor performance, and I'll tell you what, Adam Fuller. I mean, Norvell looked pissed on the sideline as he should be, but man, I mean, this is only a few games in, but you got to start looking at maybe some other targets outside of some other coaches. I mean, it's just a piss poor performance, and because Jordan Travis, this is his first time starting, I guess, a number 5 team in the country at South Bend. That is a great performance from Jordan Travis. I know the missed throw to Cam McDonald, blah 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 blah. The defense shit the bucket, and that right there is why we're not talking about a possible upset in South Bend. That's all I gotta say.
And real quick, Logan, you're going to need to add Carlos back.
He was too busy making
Austin, go ahead.
He missed my good rant there, though. Damn it.
He did. I was going to say, like, there's a few plays where it wasn't even scheme-based. Like, there was that one where he dialed up a perfect blitz, sent Gant right up the middle, and he just missed the play in the hole. Like, at some point, it comes down to players just making the plays.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but, Logan, you talked about the defensive line continued to get no pressure tonight. Credit to Marvin Wilson for tying kickoff specialist Parker Grothaus with 1 tackle tonight. Really appreciate that effort.
What about Robinson? What about J-Rob?
You're right. He got one tackle as well. So we had 2 of our starting
opposite jersey. Does he play for Florida State? And why is he still lining up as a starter? Why is 11 starting?
Yep, and Janarius Robinson was the one who missed the tackle on Notre Dame's first long touchdown run of the night on that second drive where the guy took it 60 yards. Got him in the backfield for a tackle for loss, and
but we're not talking about talent, though. We're not talking about talent. Like, we're not talking about the raw ability. We're talking about the want to make a play. And when I'm literally thinking about the guy's ability to go to the next level and produce at the next level. You're not showing any want to, but I'm telling you, when you go back to the crib, you're around your homeboys, you tell the homeboys how much you want to go to the league. Your effort isn't reflecting that attitude. And that's, I think, a lot of people's issue. Like, offense, y'all show that, hey, man, we're young, we're motivated, we got a new starting quarterback. We want to go prove that we can go produce. Defense, a lot of older guys are on defense, just don't care. I truly feel like that. You're playing simply because you're already here now. And they showed that with their effort. I tweeted, everybody's looking at DBs, they're breaking in the secondary. Well, how do you think they get into the secondary? Nobody's getting off blocks. Nobody's putting in the effort to stick an arm in the hole.
Yeah. Getting drive blocked. But yeah, speaking about the defensive line's pressure, which, I mean, it was something we didn't really see tonight. When we did see it, Ian Book actually, threw an incompletion, but
I think we actually
plays were far and far between.
3 pressures tonight, which some improvement.
But it feels like it might be time for Amari Gaynor to move down to that Fox defensive end, just so Florida State can have.
Might be time.
Yeah, well, being generous here.
I know.
Obviously, he's a more athletic and speed rusher off the edge.
You want to put him on the edge and take him away from the middle of the field where he's being most effective?
You gotta let me finish. Jaden Lars Woodby obviously has been a very big liability for Florida State at that safety spot.
I
Moving
thought,
back down to linebacker, move Gainer down to Fox, and live with what you get. It can't be worse than what you're seeing already.
I mean, where's Nasruddin been?
I know. I
Injured, I
tweeted that.
guess.
Does he have the never-ending flu? Is he hurt? Is he on injury report? Because last depth chart that came out that we posted, he was a starter. In the news, he was a starter. So why is Buddy not suiting up?
He's been cleared to return.
We're talking from what?
They never announced. He suffered an injury against Florida last year. They never said what it was, but so we're assuming it's because of that knee injury. But he is cleared healthy to return. So I guess it's just kind of up to him when he wants to take the field.
Los, you got to flip your camera. Wait, flip your camera. I think you're sideways on here. You're sideways on Zoom.
Oh, well, I'll be fine. I'm making a sandwich.
All right, make your sandwich. No, I mean, I'll tell you what, I do miss Travis J. I mean, it's crazy to say he's a true freshman, but I mean, practically a true freshman. But I miss Travis J. Obviously, I miss Hamza Najruddin. But I mean, it's quite obvious. I mean, that guy Hamza Najruddin isn't going to save the defense, but it sure would help. But there's no linebackers there. You would rather to me right now, I'd rather have 5-6 defensive linemen down there and have no linebackers and just have DBs at this point. I mean, why do you have linebacker unit? Why would you have a linebacker
have defensive
unit
linemen
right
anyway? How are you going to put 5 more of them on the field?
I'm just trying to help their case, man. I'm just trying to help them out.
No, you can't help them out. That's the issue. Don't help them out. Get the ones that don't play off the field.
Nah.
There is no helping them out anymore. I don't helping them out that's an excuse now. They've just been playing piss poor since the beginning of the season. It's not because they're not great players. It's just I feel like it's just a lack of motivation. And I don't know why you have a lack of motivation. You're at Florida State. You're competing at one of the go-to universities to play football in the country. How are you not motivated to want to go out and win and represent that?
At this point, I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say this is the worst Florida State defense in 40 years plus.
I remember it's been a long time, but I remember 2009, our defense was awful. And I'd say that this defense is even worse.
It's not even close to me.
Yeah.
09 was pretty bad. My brother was here for that. It was bad, bro.
Yeah.
Bobby's last year.
That was bad. We won the Gator Bowl. Came out on top.
There you go. Gator Bowl, baby.
Beat Maryland 45-42 to get to a bowl game.
Yeah. We did. We beat him at night, too. We beat him up there in Maryland.
Do you have Dustin, do you have game stats? Do you have a link for that? Because I have lost mine, or ESPN doesn't have theirs up yet. I'm trying to look at
send you this in the Zoom chat.
Well, for all those that are watching, I made
that is not what I meant to send.
Rotisserie chicken sandwich, mayo, Tabasco for a little heat, salt, pepper, a little Tony Santos for your seasoning pleasures, little lettuce for the crunch, and also healthy fat, and a little mustard on top. I like mustard. Just so if you want to know how Carlos Williams makes his sandwiches, boom, there you go. Rotisserie chicken sandwich made by Carlos Williams.
I love that. That's great. So that's great intermission. We should just have intermission of that. You just making your food every instant reaction, because I think that's beautiful. Let's talk. All right. So we talk about defense. We'll talk about that on the podcast on Thursday, obviously, more, because we'll just sit here and rant for another hour, but we can't do that. Let's talk about the offense, which is something most certainly optimistic to talk about. Jordan Travis goes 13-24, 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. LaDamian Webb, man, I think solid game for him, most certainly. Toa Philly only right here, rush for shows 1 yard. But yeah, LaDamian Webb can move. I think most certainly, obviously, Tamarion Terry, phenomenal game from him, man. It's good to see. He can grab. He's got muscle. This guy will fight for the ball, and it was good to see him getting after it. But the offense is able to move. Mike Norvell, I think, coached had a nice couple play calling situations where that offense was making some good rhythm and it was able to go score on a number 5 team in the country in South Bend. But I think there's some positives that look from this offense, and I know we already talked about defense, but this offense was doing its job for the main part, and I think it's pretty impressive. We got a hat tip to Jordan Travis. This is his first game he was starting officially, and he did a good job.
I like the point. I don't think Terry was phenomenal. I think he had good stats, but overall, I thought he was just all right. He gave up on that one deep route, that deep post route, that he ended up fighting back and almost catching it, but he gave up halfway through the route when he saw the DB beat him to the spot. He had a couple drops where it hit him in the hand, and when it hits your hands, you have to catch it. There was one high throw in the end zone. I could sort of get that one. But there was a couple others where I'm like, come on, you got to catch that ball. You're too talented to not catch that ball. But the one deep post route where he just gave up, I was like, seriously, man, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really liked how the offense performed tonight. They had 4 long drives. 2 of them resulted in touchdowns. One resulted in a field goal. One resulted in that pick that Jordan Travis threw that could have been a touchdown to Cam McDonald if maybe the ball's out there a foot less, or McDonald actually makes an attempt to go out and get it. But overall, I thought they did a little bit more even than we expect them to do against Notre Dame, especially after the offensive performances we saw against the other FBS teams they played this season, and Georgia Tech and Miami. So I think you've got to be really encouraged with what Jordan Travis did in his first start. He accounted for 300 yards of total offense. He made some plays through the air, rolling out of the pocket, hit Terry on that deep pass. And he also, made a lot of plays on the ground. That touchdown run he had, I think it was in the second quarter, where he faked the pitch and then just took it right into the end zone. I mean, that was nasty. So
Yeah.
Credit to him. I mean, obviously we all predicted Notre Dame to win this coming into this matchup. But I think overall we can say it was a positive performance for the offense. They can take a lot out of it.
What do you think, Carlos, about that offense?
I mean, the best thing the whole thing tonight was for me was that our offense is young, very sophomores across the board. You got 2 transfers coming in that are 2 sophomores. I mean, our 3 starting receivers, if you looked at them when they presented the roster, were all juniors. Our quarterback's a sophomore. I mean, they played a great game collectively as a young unit, and I think we're spoiled at Florida State. We expect us to be on top of our game all the time. I think we are going through some real growing pains, and I know it's like overdue saying it. Like people are like, oh, you've been sick. No, it's overdue growing pains, and we're seeing the growing pain. Like our offense is producing and struggling, but they're producing as much as they can, and our defense is just we're not there yet on defense. Yeah. Offensively, we're getting better each week. Our running backs are running better, and then our Terry had a decent night tonight. Like we're moving the ball. We found a starting quarterback now, and but defense is still struggling. So yeah, we're still going through our own growing pains. Travis had a amazing game tonight. I like the way he managed the game. I like when he made smart decisions. He didn't turn the ball over, stuff like that, and that's kind of stuff you kind of want to have moving forward. And I think they made the right choice with him, and I'm excited about it.
And speaking of improvements, we haven't mentioned it yet, but the offensive line, I mean, each week just gets better and better. Credit to Coach Atkins up front. But they're opening up holes for Webb and Travis all night. There was a couple times where they got beat, which, I mean, that's going to happen. But for the majority of the night, they looked really, really good. And I was very impressed with them and the improvements they made just 4 games in, when the entire offseason was saying, oh, God, here we go again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and the offensive line only gave up 2 sacks while Travis was in the ball game. There was a couple times where he did get pressured, and unlike James Blackman, Travis has the ability to get out of that pocket and either turn it into a pass down the field or a short game with his legs. I mean, I think there was one, that very last drive that Florida State had, a defender came right up the middle, right after the snap, smacked him in the midsection. He turned out of it. Another guy reached at him, and he was able to get away from it, and he turned what would have been like an 8-yard loss into no gain or a yard gain. But it's those little plays like that can keep drives alive when before, they were getting killed.
The pass to Terry on the sideline.
Yeah.
And Terry fights to get close to the first down. He's able to stretch plays and stuff like that. And that's what this offense needs. If you looked at Norvell before and you looked at the players he had at Memphis, let's not be crazy. You have to recruit or have guys that's going to be able to run that system. And he's not bringing a new system. It's what he's been doing. They had multiple backs on the field. They have multiple backs in the NFL right now getting touches tomorrow for a purpose. So, I mean, I think moving forward, this is what we're going to get used to seeing. It's going to be crazy because they're only going to get better because they are young. I'm hoping, as looking at tonight as a big step forward, that our guys that like Marvin or like Terry and the other receivers there are juniors. They have the ability to lead. We'll say, know what? We are improving as a group. We're becoming more solid. I'm going to stay one more time. I'm going to do it again. And this time we're going to be better for it. And so maybe that's too much optimism. But as of right now, that's the way I'm looking at it because I was very impressed with offense. Defense, we're going to have to take some time and really learn to gel and probably simplify a lot of things because we were all over the place. We wasn't getting off blocks. We wasn't really showing much effort. And that's not something that you're used to seeing out of a Florida State defense.
Total yards for Florida State's offense, 405. Notre Dame, 554, a little over half a grand. But the big thing here is Notre Dame had 353 rushing yards, 153 for Florida State. So that plays a big factor, and we kind of expected Notre Dame to have a good running game in this. But my last, kind of take on this game, there's optimism, obviously, offensively. Jordan Travis had one turnover with just a pick off to the side. What's crazy is throughout the rest of this game, though, Florida State was still in it between two possessions near the end. And, that's a whole 180 from what you saw in 2018 whenever Florida State was last in South Bend. And you got to try to take the optimistic side of things and try to take everything you can get. And this offense actually has a bright future, and Mike Norvell has some things to change, obviously, to work on that defense, and Adam Fuller. And you got to hope that you're looking at a game next week, which is going to be against North Carolina, which, man,
another top 10 team.
Yeah, well, you don't want to even think about Sam Howell and that North Carolina offense, which I'm just going to go to sleep and not have to think about it tonight, but. It's going to be a tough game for Florida State in Doak Campbell Stadium, but
this is what I can say though. Think about this though, guys. I got goosebumps thinking about it, but I think this offense that we're seeing is going to rise to the occasion. They're going to rise to match it. That they rose tonight to match that offense that they seen in South Bend. Don't get it twisted. They really put out their best effort. When you looked at those guys and they close up on those guys and those cameras on their faces, they looked like they were ready to play. Like when they got an offensive penalty, it was fuck man. Okay, it's frustration. Let's go get it back. Like it wasn't sulking on myself or I hang my head. It was let's go make a play. Let's go get it back. Let's move the ball down the field. I think we're going to see them rise to the occasion, really challenge North Carolina's defense. I really think they're going to. They're going to put on a show. They're going to put forth the same effort, if not a better effort tonight, because they see themselves progressing. When they watch that film. They're going to be proud. And
that offense is fighting for Jordan Travis. I think, obviously, you see better play than they've had with James Blackman, but they are fighting. I can tell right off the bat. That's something I look always towards is, they're picking up Jordan Travis, but they believe in him, and they see a lot of optimism with him. And I think that plays a big role in how, moving forward, they believe in this guy. And 13, right now, you have Luke Altmaier coming in next season, but right now, Jordan Travis has the hold on this offense. I hope there's no discussion next week about, I need to see Purdy. No, that's it. Let's stop it right now. I hope there's no tweets about it on Monday because that's it. Jordan Travis is a solidified starter, and most of the plays that he made tonight, there was no way any quarterback, or at least from what we've seen on the field, was not going to make getting out of tackles while getting tackled, making a first down throw. That is your starting quarterback. So I hope there's no more kind of quarterback competition talk for the rest, or at least for the rest of the year, unless something dramatically happens to Jordan Travis. But that's pretty much it on my take.
The thing that matters is if his hand's all right. I know he got banged up there at the end, and we don't really know what's going on.
I think he's.
They wouldn't have put Blackman in. I don't think if he wasn't really dinged up. So I don't know.
I think he took a couple shots throughout the game.
Yeah, he got beat up. He's gonna be real sore on that plane ride if he's not already.
My wife asked me
while
Blackman's in the game. I'm saying Travis is the starter.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving him in there to get banged up with a couple minutes on the clock. He is my starter. He is my starter.
He's fine. They were just checking his hand.
13 he's going to carry the weight of the team on his back. Yeah. So Blackman, I'm sorry to tell you, but you go get them scrap minutes. You got sacked twice. Now you have to shower. That's on you. I mean, that's on you. I mean, I'm sorry, that's on you, but I mean, it comes. I mean,
He
it
got
sucks because
sucked
Blackman.
twice in 7 plays.
But he's been such a great leader for Florida State. He's himself been through a lot, and that's kind of he has a soft spot on my heart because he's been through a lot. That kid's he came in and played for Frenchie when Frenchie was rising to the occasion. Frenchie was getting ready to get in those Heisman talks himself, sitting in the pocket, taking the shots to the chest. I mean, he was getting there. So Blackman came in, had to fill somewhat kind of not big shoes, but come in and play a big role early. And Jimbo left, and him having to come in with Taggart in that offense and having 2 different offensive coordinators back to back, and then having another new coach come in. You've been through a lot, kid. I understand. Like, but the best player is going to play. And right now, hey, Travis is the best player, and he's helping the offense put points on the board.
Yep.
And
Any last takes, anybody?
We already kind of touched about it with North Carolina next week, but I think it's going to be a real shootout. North Carolina's defense is not good. And obviously Sam Howell and that offense is going to be great. I think we're going to be for 30-plus points on both sides next week.
Exactly what I wanted to say. I got to watch some of that North Carolina versus Virginia Tech game today. The final score was 56-45 and
101
Carolina's favor. Sam Howell, I mean, man, you can't say enough about that offense they're going to be bringing into Tallahassee next week. I know Florida State fans are kicking themselves because, I mean, really, this kid should probably be wearing garnet and gold right now.
Shout out Walt Bell.
Speaking about the shootout potential, North Carolina's defense really susceptible to giving up big plays off the edge. I watched Virginia Tech do a couple of jet sweeps and outside runs and just absolutely obliterate them. So that's exactly what Florida State wants to do on those RPOs and short passes. And I think we could be in for some big points, like 42-35 type of game. It'd be good.
Yeah, I'm excited to preview it.
I think we beat North Carolina.
Whoa.
Listen.
Here we go.
Who's listening live? Who just got it from Carlos right here?
Understand what you just said. What you're getting ready to go into. Like, as a player that's been in that locker room, and I hope it has the same kind of feel, but when you watch yourself on film and you know the weeks prior you haven't played good football, and you actually go put points on the number 5 team in the country, yeah, your defense didn't play well. You're going to have to see that too, but you see yourself dominate the number 5 team in the country at times. Push the ball down the field, score on the first drive coming out in the third quarter. What makes you think you can't do that to North Carolina? You understand? And you're going to watch Notre Dame do that to them at times. You're going to watch Virginia Tech do that to them at times. But they're not. Notre Dame was ranked number 5. So why can't I do that on them? It's a psychological game. You got to play with yourself. And I hope they understand what they're getting themselves into. Like, we're now in a tough football conference.
Yeah.
We're becoming a real power, conference. We're competing with the SEC and the Pac-12 and the Big 12 and having multiple teams in the ranking top 25 every week.
Yeah, and the important thing to remember.
Rise to the occasion. I think they will. I think they will next week. I feel like they're going to win next week. It won't be a big win. I think it comes down to a field goal, but I think we put ourselves in that position next week. That's the way I feel. I'm strong. I feel strongly about that. We put ourselves in position to beat North Carolina.
I think the most important thing to remember about this offense with Jordan Travis taking over is he's really only been the starting quarterback now for 6.5 quarters. And those 6.5 quarters, this offense has looked completely different than they did against Georgia Tech, Miami, and their first quarter against Jacksonville State. And they're only going to keep improving as he gets more confident in that offense and the whole unit gets more cohesiveness with him at the starting position. So the best is yet to come for this Florida State offense.
It's not even those 6.5 quarters. It's not even those 6.5 quarters when we put him in for a couple of series against Miami and Georgia Tech. Those are our best series for those games outside the first possession when they had the scripted plays and everything. But yeah, Jordan Travis has by far been the best quarterback in this system. And as you just said, as he gets more confident, more comfortable, it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah. Well, we will be recording that North Carolina FSU preview on Thursday. We'll be going live later Thursday night at 9 p.m. I'm excited for this game. This was the one that I marked down as, great storyline. You got Sam Howell, who's a former Florida State quarterback commit, And now that you have some optimism on Florida State offensive side of the thing, like
Pisses
Dustin
me
and
off.
Carlos have said, that this is most likely going to be a shootout in Doak Campbell Stadium. And I'm excited to be there. We'll be there to
And
have
Austin.
Second
And
Florida
Austin.
State quarterback commit will be facing.
Yeah.
The second.
Well, the
So
defensive
they
line.
have chips on their shoulders. They
Will-
have chips on their
Will
shoulders.
Marvin Wilson want to have his best game of the season? We'll see if that defensive line wants to get after him. We will see on Saturday. But yeah.
Give me 2 tackles, Marvin.
But yeah, that's gonna do it. As always, you can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so then you'll be notified every time we release a new episode. We really appreciate everybody listening. This is our instant reaction to Florida State versus number 5 Notre Dame. Florida State falls 26-42. But there's some optimism on the offensive side and a solid game pretty much from Jordan Travis. We will talk to you guys on Thursday for our Florida State North Carolina preview. See you guys.